I know why you're here. You want the cheat code to life.
You want the secret map
To your destiny.
And that is exactly what the fuck I'm gonna give you. The real golden gun. So I'm gonna start this with the story, and it'll be quick and painless, I promise. When I was in college, I started as a business major. And I had a bit of interest in commerce and business. But I really just wanted to be creative and make art, make music, write screenplays, do all kinds of, creative hippy dippy shit. And so I realized pretty quick, you know what, there's no way I'm gonna pass this business shit or could do it for 4 years. So I switched to film, studying film, narrative, screenwriting, which I had interest in because it was creative, and I knew I didn't want to partake in the music school because I didn't want the rigidness or limitations of, after you hit the C sharp, it would make a lot of sense to hit the B flat. I didn't want that. So I forewent the music and went into film. Figured it'd be easy, fun, watch movies all day and shit. Well, there was some of that, but there was much more emphasis on narrative and myth, which at first had no interest in. But as I began to take these classes and have an openness to them and actually read the books and study this stuff, I became obsessed pretty quickly. Because little did I know, these teachings of myth and narrative, they were built into the human spirit and the human narrative in such a way that it gave me an understanding of life, of my interactions with people, of who was who on my journey, one I never could have imagined. And as you go down this path, one of the first books you read is the classic Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell. If you don't know Joseph Campbell,
eternity isn't some later time. Eternity isn't a long time. Eternity has nothing to do with time. Eternity is that dimension of here and now, which thinking in time cuts out.
This is it.
This is it.
This is mine.
If you don't get it here, you won't get it anywhere. And the experience of eternity right here and now is the function of life.
Go watch this guy, read his books. He was brilliant, fascinating. He took the spiritual and the physical path and blended them in such a way and found the thread in them that was so magical to me. And the hero's journey pretty much is the DNA to every kind of iconic big adventure movie, whether it's Star Wars or The 40-Year-Old Virgin. You'll happen to see these same genetic strands and kind of pivot points in the movie, from this hero that is refusing this call to become something, to then finally answering the call, to hitting his hurdles and his tests along the way that he wants to give up at, but then he meets the archetypal mentor, and the mentor shines wisdom on him. So you start to learn all these archetypes of narrative, from the henchman to the villain to the mentor to the femme fatale. And strangely, and this was super trippy to me, as I went through life, I started to see these archetypes everywhere around me. It became very surreal and trippy. I would see the girl that had the pure sex and magic in her eyes that created that lust. And I started to be able to see it while it was happening and go, that is a femme fatale. That is a test placed in front of me to try to trigger the lower vibrations and the lower man in me to get off of my mission or the calling and be swayed back into the physical realm of flesh and pleasure. Or I might meet somebody that at first, in a past time in life, I would have paid no mind. But having a more keen and intuitive eye now, I would see maybe that person is an unlikely mentor. Maybe there is some wisdom that if I just sit here and shut my goddamn mouth and listen to what they have to say, I might learn something, and I might learn something important. I might remember something. So as I went on with life and I could see these archetypal characters coming into my narrative, my hero's journey, and I could see the pivot points where there was a call to do something that I might have been apprehensive or afraid to do, I knew for my journey to continue, to progress, to go beyond, to strive for that place of liberation from the identity and the archetype, to move beyond the mechanical mind. I had to face these things. I had to run at them. I also had a knowing that there would be tests, and these tests weren't there to hurt me. The tests were placed there by myself, for myself, to prove myself to myself. I gained the understanding that the real treasure or the prize that the hero, in this case, me as the hero of my own journey, or you as the hero of your journey, I realized this prize was not what I thought it was. Like in a movie, it may be, they're on an island and they find the buried treasure, but the real prize was what that hero or that character discovered about themselves and how they grew and expanded and moved beyond the mechanical cog in the machine world. They stepped into the magical. So I am here in this moment to tell you, if you want a cheat code to your life, to a better understanding of things unfolding beyond the eye and on a deeper layer, study myth, study narrative, study the great archetypal characters and stories, and know that yours in many ways will be a reflection of those. Same pivot points, same tests, same bullshit you have to deal with, the same noise that's calling you from the outside to try to pull you off your hero's journey and have you just be another little NPC. Well, I saw on the thing that they said that I don't know about that guy. I really think that da-da-da-da-da. If you want to leave that world, this is a cheat code. I think you will end up discovering something invaluable to your journey, and that will take a certain haze out of your view of the world, out of what is, out of the truth of things. And I challenge you, this is a test. I am placed in your narrative to hand you a test. Go take the time, read the shit, study the shit, and see if you don't start to understand things on a deeper layer.